Good morning, guys. Welcome to Shades and a brand new video today. Now we're going to talk about a very one of our finest players at Chelsea Football Club. He's a World Cup winner. He's one of the most impressive players, one of the best player in his position. Any guesses right now? Okay, one more clue. He is one of the favorite players of everyone. He's not like a prima donna like most of the footballers these days are not Chelsea footballers, and most of the footballers that we come across, he's one of the exceptional attitude players who have great attitude, great players. Every manager wants a player like him. They love to have a player like him. He is very down to earth. Any clues? Any ideas? Okay, he's a multiple, this will give it, he's a multiple Premier League title winners with two different clubs. He's the only player who has actually won two Premier League titles back-to-back with two different clubs. Now that should be all. I think all of you by now should know what I'm talking about. A certain N'Golo Kante, a World Cup winner, a prized asset, one of the best players and one of the best attitudes out there. He's an amazing down-to-earth person, a kind of a player that every manager needs to be in the team. We talk about N'Golo Kante and reports that have come up in the last few days or weeks that he might be sold by Chelsea, or there are a couple of clubs who are willing to buy him, or he might himself want to leave Chelsea. Is that true? Is it going to happen? We'll talk about here a little bit and what it means to us, the Chelsea football fans. So here we go. Now, first thing is we have to understand that's which clubs are willing to buy him in the first place. So there are a few clubs actually. The most one is Barca. Barca's name comes up here because mainly Chelsea had a lot of things coming up with Phillippe Coutinho in the last 1 month. There are a lot of news which is not dying out every 2-3 days about Chelsea getting connected to Phillippe Coutinho, Coutinho being sold to Chelsea, Chelsea trying to buy Coutinho, all this kind of news, which just shows this is not dying out, which would mean that there is a story going on there between Chelsea and Coutinho. And obviously keeping that in mind, Barca would be the most possible team, because Barca would like to do shrewd business and do a swap, which obviously we'll talk about a little later in the video. That is not something we want, but it is something that Barca might want to get a clean swap between Kante going the other way to Nou Camp and Coutinho coming to Stamford Bridge. So Barca is the most likely candidate of a club which is trying to buy Kante from Chelsea. There are few other clubs as well. Now, if Barca is wanting somebody, Real Madrid can't be far behind. It's always like that within those two clubs. They're arch rivals. They are always competing with each other. So obviously there's the Real Madrid angle as well. You might see that Real Madrid comes up with an offer which Chelsea fails to refuse. I mean, Chelsea will go ahead and can't refuse that. So obviously Real Madrid is all over there when Barca is in the picture. Coming away from the Spanish teams, there are a couple of other teams who have been big fans of N'Golo Kante. Most likely is PSG, right now the biggest club in France. They have been, over the last couple of seasons, have been around the corner asking Chelsea for a possible purchase of N'Golo Kante, and Chelsea has always said no, but they're always going to be there. And if in the market N'Golo Kante is available, there's a very good chance that they might like to go ahead and purchase him. So one other club might be interested. There are two more clubs to go over here. So they're both from Italy. The biggest club in Italy is Juve, and obviously when you talk about these clubs, Juve can't be far behind as well, because Juve would be a kind of team who again try to buy a player like that. Again, Juve is managed at this moment by Sarri. If that changes, you never know. But then Sarri is one of the players, one of the coaches who actually put N'Golo Kante in a difficult position and playing him out of the position. So I'm not sure how much Kante will like to go to Juve, or in that matter Sarri will want him. But you never know, because Sarri is more of a big fan of Jorginho, so he would rather want Jorginho rather than Kante. But you never know, in the same place that Sarri might not even stay at Juve for a long time. So then Juve is one of the clubs. There's one other club from Italy who is very interested. They've been very ambitious in the last 12 months. They purchased a host of players, and they have a very good manager, and they also have a manager who has actually coached Kante in the past. We're talking about Antonio Conte, and Conte has been a Chelsea manager. He had a wonderful one season with Chelsea, actually played there for 2 seasons. But that one season we all remember when we won the Premier League with him. And Kante was part of his team. He was one of the main knights in that team, which won us the Premier League that season. So Conte will have some fond memories of that season with this player, with Kante. So yeah, that is one of the players he might want. They have a lot of money, a lot of cash, as we have seen. They've gone ahead in the market and gone ahead and splashed a lot of cash on a lot of players. So who knows? They might be in for a ring and they might go for Kante if a situation comes. But at this moment, I think all saying that Barca is the most possible destination for him. Now the question arises, will Chelsea go ahead and sell him? Is there a need for him to be sold? Two main points comes up, and we'll talk about it a little bit. First is his age. He's closing to 30. Second, his fitness. Now first, coming to the age, a player like him, who is a top-notch player, they end up playing till the age of 33, 34, maybe 35. So he is about 28, 29, I think 28. So he's still got good 5 years left in him. So why will Chelsea leave him or let him go in the first place? We can still get 5 years from him. But from a different club's perspective, let's say Barca in this matter, if they had to buy him right now, they get a good 4 or 5 years out of him as well. So it's a win-win situation for both clubs. Chelsea gets money, Barca gets a player, get 4 or 5 years. But if Chelsea doesn't sell him, Chelsea could get 4 or 5 years if he stays fit. And that's the second point. His fitness has been a lot of thing to talk about. Over the last 12 months, I think he has been injured 4 times. And out of this 4 times, 2 to 3 times, he has been lengthy injuries. 1 month, 1.5 month injuries, 2 months maybe. That is a cause of concern because he is one of the main players. Now understand, Chelsea has a very young team. And you need your senior players, the likes of Kante, Jorginho, to come up goods, Rudiger in that matter. And when some of your older senior players are getting injured, then all that is left is for the young players to play. And the young players are inexperienced. You cannot expect them to be delivering every match, day in, day out. Some of them will do well. The other matches, they might not do well. And you need these senior players, Azpilicueta in that matter as well, the captain, to come up and motivate these players. So Kante is one of those senior players, being almost 30 years old, has won 2 back-to-back Premier Leagues, has won a World Cup. He has got so much of talent and has so much of experience to give it to the young players. And if he is injured, it makes a lot of problematic. In this case, at this moment, Frank Lampard has a lot of problems when a player of his caliber gets injured. So that is something you think about at Chelsea, that if you want to go out and cash in on him, you get 80 million, 90 million is what he is valued at this moment by Stamford at Chelsea. So that's a lot of money if you go and cash him, because he's going to get injured more often. But then at the other end, if you look at it, we can also get a good amount of years out of him if we can get him fit. Now there's 2 questions about it. Why he is getting injured? There are 2 possible reasons for it. Frank's training methods. Second thing, the doctors at Stamford Bridge are not doing their job correctly. Now Frank's training methods have been under scrutiny a little bit over the last 6-7 months, because a lot of Chelsea players are getting injured, not just N'Golo Kante. We have half our first team getting injured, and so we have come to know that Frank keeps telling their players to run, and sometimes it doesn't work out and they get a little injured all the way, and some of the players keep getting injured. They come back and again get injured. But all the blame, and though Frank has been criticized on that, but all the blame cannot go to Frank, obviously, because there's something called, we are in the 21st century and not in the 19th century. We have technology by our side, so the doctors can actually decide when a player really needs to come back. So that means if a player is injured for 2 weeks, and if the doctor thinks he needs 1 more week, that is 3 weeks, he can tell the management that give him that extra 1 week and then let him come back to the team. Now, if a player is getting injured and then he comes back and again gets injured, that would mean that doctors are not doing their job correctly. They're not evaluating the whole situation, which would mean that there's something going wrong in that section. Either the doctors are being told by the manager to rush the player back, which is letting them getting injured once again, or there could be something else where the doctors are not doing their job correctly. Either way, It is hampering Stamford Bridge. It's hampering the fans at Chelsea. It's hampering Chelsea Football Club. It's hampering these players who are getting all injured. Now, if players get injured, it will also mean, too often that is, they get demotivated and they might want out. In this case, though I'm pretty sure Kante doesn't want out, but if he gets more injured, there will be a time when he'll say, man, I'm getting injured over here. I might not get injured somewhere else. Let me just get out of this club. It can happen. So the thing is, the doctors need to do their job properly. Maybe they are not. Maybe the manager is rushing the players back. Maybe he should not. We don't know. But for at this moment, as we know, and before we go to that, we'll talk about the Coutinho factor here. Now, Barca, for me, is on the first position to get this player. And when we talk about Barca, we all know that they would like to do a straight swap, which Chelsea would not want. Because what will Barca want is Kante goes to Nou Camp and Coutinho goes to Stamford Bridge. Swap deal, simple deal, but it doesn't work for us. We are still valuing Kante for 80-90 mil and Coutinho will be around 60. So where will that extra 20 mil go? We want that money as well if we were to sell Kante. So we rather will want, if in case we are selling Kante, we get Coutinho, on our loan deal for a season and see how it goes, and according to that, we'll take care of it. We will not put him in a deal with Kante. Now, what I personally feel, I'll tell you right now, and what Chelsea should do, and what I think Chelsea is going to do is not sell him in the first place. I'm pretty sure Chelsea is not going to sell him in the first place. See how it goes. It's something I've been talking in the last 6 months. I've said it multiple times in the last 6 months. Something in the second half of last season, Sarri did very well and we won the Europa Cup. We had two teams, one team playing for the Premier League, one team was playing the Champions League. The Europa Cup. We were playing Champions League this season. And that way we had less injuries, though we had injuries, but the player fatigue factor went ahead. There was no fatigue factor that much because they were playing one match every week. Now with the player of Kante's, though we have known for the last 3-4 seasons, if you remember, when he played for Leicester, when he played for Chelsea, when we won the Premier League under Conte, he played every match. He was amazing. An amazing character, an amazing personality. But now that he's 28 and he's getting injured prone, no matter what is the reason for that injury, whether the doctors, whether it's Frank Lampard, or the reason for the injury, we have to think about it. We're getting two teams right now playing for Chelsea, one for the Premier League, one in the Champions League, or the other competitions, not just Champions League. And maybe play Kante in maybe one of the matches. It's an important match in the week, whether in the Premier League, whether in the Champions League, and the other match he starts from the sub-bench. That way he gets less injured, there's less chance of him getting fatigued, there's less chance that he can cope up, be more fresh. I don't think Frank is a believer in this kind of a philosophy, so I'm not sure that Frank is going to go and do this, but this is something to go for him, because if he gets more injured, he might want out, and at the end, we will have to go and sell him, and now where we are asking prices 80 million, it come down to 55-60 million, which will be a loss for Chelsea. I think for me, Kante still has good 3-4 years left in him. And if he's used properly in the right way, play him once a week, I'm pretty sure we can get the best out of him, and he needs to be there in the team. I know a lot of young players are coming up, and we are still going for younger players, and it's all good, and we might get a great team with all bunch of young players, but it's very much needed that a perfect professional like N'Golo Kante should be in the team. Now, I think, from personal point of view, that Chelsea is not selling him and he's not going anywhere, and neither I want him to go anywhere. But I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. Should we sell him? If we do, where do we sell him? What do you guys think of a swap between him and Coutinho? What do you think about the training methods of Frank Lampard or the doctors? How are the Chelsea doctors dealing with the whole situation? Please keep it coming in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you as always. Until next time, if I missed out on something, you just let me know on this topic. But until next time, keep it coming, guys. See you. Bye-bye.